I'm starting to feel like this is that Grim Reaper meme where he's going down, knocking on everybody's doors, you know, one by one, going from one predator influencer to the next predator influencer. And here we are today getting Chris Tyson from MrBeast out of here. So I had this tweet in this video come across my timeline and I knew I had to stop and make a video about it.
This ain't true. And this screenshot is Chris Tyson talking one-on-one with him. And at this point, he would have been 16. Here is the picture of them meeting up together. And as you can see right there, there's Carl right there, there's Chris Tyson right there. Chris Tyson was talking to this guy since he was 13. Chris Tyson was in college. The moment he was able to drive, he takes a camper van out in the middle of the woods, which, by the way, very secluded area. Why did he take a camper van out to see him and take it out in the middle of the woods in this secluded area? And then he met up with him like 2 days later, like the picture was posted.
So Ava Chris Tyson, formerly a part of MrBeast staff and MrBeast friend, is a confirmed groomer, pedophile. Okay. Now, it has been brought to the light that Chris was only able to make these connections with these people, or the inappropriate connections with these minors, because of the relationship that he had with MrBeast and the stature that he held on the channel and the platform.
I got a weird snap from Chris. And then as you guys can see right here, there's a screenshot of the snap. Up in the left-hand top corner there, you can see from Christopher. And then there's a picture of Chris in front of the American flag. And there's text that Chris displayed. And the text says, "Coming for America." Like C-U-M-M-I-N-G. And also just keep in mind that Lava right here, if you do the math, with this being January 26, 2019, Lava right here would have been 15 years old. And as for how old Chris would be here, Chris would have been 22 and a half years old. Now, moving a little bit further in the video, Prism talks about how Chris and Lava met, and that was apparently because Lava won a challenge that MrBeast was doing, and Lava received a signed knife from MrBeast.
When he was 16, he was in a MrBeast video. He asked Jimmy, "How hard do you want it?" What I want to start out with is when this guy was really young, he won some sort of competition or was involved, and he DM'd MrBeast on Twitter and got sent a knife signed by MrBeast. It was a CSGO Karambit. That seems to be the first interaction that I can tell.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with the kid participating in the challenge, winning something from their favorite content creator, whatever the case may be. What I do think is disgusting is that Chris is taking advantage of the participants of the challenge because he has this stature and using the place that he is in to get the information from the person and continuing conversation while still holding above the head of this person this power dynamic that, hey, I am MrBeast's friend, I am working at the company, I can potentially do X, Y, and Z. Who knows what could have been said further between them two with the use of MrBeast as like this catalyst. Ultimately, I think stuff like that is lame anyway. Like getting play from somebody who is of age when you're using somebody else's name. Yo, I'm Drake's homeboy, I'm LeBron's guy, whatever, to me is weird. Now I know people do it, but specifically when you do it for a minor, that is crazy.
Chris on March 26, 2018 put out a tweet and he said, "I really enjoy playing Fortnite. Would you guys want to watch me stream?" And then he put up a poll, and then Lava responds and he says, "Please stream again," in all caps. Chris responds, "Thanks, Dad. You want to moderate it?" Chris was how old during this? 2021? And he's calling a literal 14-year-old his dad? Like, I don't know, man. This shit's just weird.
"I drove from West Virginia to North Carolina. I'm sitting in a camper in the woods right now. I love Carl, though. Carl is amazing, and that is a fact. True, he hugged me before Chris managed to. Why do you want to come to North Carolina? Because winky face. Carl simps for me. I think we all simp for Carl. I know, right, Teehee? Offering to buy me ice cream if I do stuff for him."
Now, another strange thing to talk about in these conversations is potentially some of the phrasing that's being used on the internet. Now, of course, hindsight makes everything 2020, and we can look at all these comments about Chris calling him dad, or the conversations within the Discord and simping and teehee and winking. And of course, in hindsight, it looks nasty. But in reality, a lot of people let these conversations linger on and not think two shits about it because that's the way you're supposed to talk on the internet. But I've talked about this on the channel before, that some of the things that we okay in the online community and spaces probably should be policed a little bit harder because of stuff just like this. I know I might get a lot of hate for that, but when stuff like this happens, we can always say, hey, this was clearly presentable and present at the time. We should have just probably not let it happen. A lot of people want to know why this is just coming out now, seeing as how this happened in 2018. And I don't have any real thought processes or logic behind it. I mean, he was a kid after all. You know, maybe maybe this person realizes how disgusting the actions or conversations were back then, who this person even is that's investigating and why they are doing this, what ulterior motives they may have. To me, some of that isn't necessarily even relevant, but the fact that we're exposing somebody who has the potential or even had the potential to do this in the past and may have a bigger track record, because MrBeast has done a lot of stuff where he's gifted a lot of people certain toys, trinkets, monies, or whatever the case may be. And to think that somebody's manipulating that information for their nefarious acts is crazy. Now, I do want to say this. Keemstar did report, and yes, I'm reporting on something that Keemstar said. Quote, MrBeast connected me directly to the Lava, the alleged Chris Tyson groomed victim. Lava, I was not groomed by Chris Tyson. Lava, I did not meet Chris Tyson by myself. I met Chris and the MrBeast crew with my family present. Lava, I ran a Discord with Chris Tyson when I was 13, and edgy and inappropriate jokes were said. That's it. Now, there could be something more to this, and this is where the whole internet conversation gets tricky. This could be nothing but edgy jokes and some of the stuff that we allow to just float around on the internet, which I do want to say, again, we probably need to investigate, and a lot of us need to stop and not let these things continue to run rampant on the internet. And on the flip side of that, this could be total Stockholm syndrome, and there could be some sort of diverting of the realities of the situations because you just don't want to get caught. Lava himself even went out on Twitter and said, these videos are massive lies and twisting the truth. Ava never did anything wrong and just made a few edgy jokes. I was never exploited or taken advantage of. You do me a favor and comment on these videos and tell them to stop. The situation takes away from children who are actively being exploited every day online. I am not a victim of anything being claimed in these videos, or not at all. Somebody even in the comments section asked, how much did they pay you? Lava comes out and says $0 at all. Now again, Chris is no saint, because we've seen the edgy jokes that Chris has been putting online when Chris was Chris and not Ava. Back in the day, there used to be racist jokes. There used to be a lot of sexual jokes. And that's what this person talks about is going on in their video. A Cheeto says, I have no idea who you are and never mentioned you in my video. You need to stop lying. My video focuses on Chris Tyson's history of engaging with art that depicts minors sexually, which I find deplorable. If there is something I'm missing, do let me know. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that this video was put out at this specific time when a lot of people are on the internet calling Ava or Chris a groomer. I think this person took advantage of that time period. So don't get it twisted. Their hands aren't squeaky clean. But then again, how squeaky clean do your hands need to be when there is some suspicion about some of the things that Chris has going on in the past that probably should be brought to the light? Now, with all this news coming out, the damage control is on full effect. So it's not crazy to say that everything between the story of Chris not being involved in MrBeast's day-to-day operations anymore as much due to, you know, raising the kids, or the alleged victim denying any of the claims, all the way to Chris deleting all her tweets on Twitter. This could all be a result of trying to escape the rightful persecution that is truly deserved in this situation. Now, just to clarify why MrBeast is involved, Chris was a prominent figure on MrBeast's channel, not only a childhood friend, but was a mainstay and face on the gaming channel, the main channel, the philanthropy channel. And in 2023, Chris underwent a transformation of taking hormones to go from man to woman and turn Chris to Ava. Now, around the same time, Chris was rumored to had been let go by the MrBeast team. I don't know if you guys remember that.
After Jimmy and the crew traveled the world, people noticed that Chris wasn't in any of the photos, and it led them to believe that he was fired because of all the hate. But Chris just posted this video.
Just because I want to spend time with Tucker and he's traveling a lot, I'm just gonna come and go as I please. I came to Japan and I left when I pleased.
Now, the reason why this is important is because MrBeast goes to bat for his friends a lot, but there's a lot of questions that arise with you coming to bat for MrBeast. A fellow MrBeast employee Jake the Viking talked about this Chris situation and basically says that Jimmy knew. He goes on to say, while we're at it, Chris should tell everyone how old the girl was he was snapping that sent him his first ever pair of Gucci slides. Now, why was it such a hard choice to keep this keto friend around who had a creepy past, or just kicking off one of your best friends? I have no clue. That's the power of friendship. Maybe it would have been the optics, because at the time they were specifically talking about how he was transitioning into Ava, that it would have made it look weird. But these things also happened in 2018, so if he knew, why not kick Chris off this platform just totally? Now, I want to be clear, because we've gone deep into this video. This isn't a trans issue. That shouldn't have to be said. I don't know why people are turning it into that type of content, but I've been reading some of these tweets that say Chris Tyson has been outed as a pedo. The fact that she went and deleted everything off her account just proves it was true. She just set back the trans community 1,000 plus years, and now MrBeast is gonna have to deal with the backlash too. But Chris Tyson. And I can see why some people would feel like it's important to bring this to light and talk about and just put it out there and say, hey, this has nothing to do with that. But it's 2024 and I would like to think that we're past that. But because we have a due diligence to do on this channel, I want to reiterate that this has nothing to do with that. Chris, if any validity is to these claims, this is disgusting. And I think that this makes it so hard because so many people are so focused on Chris's gender identity that they can't move past the fact that there's a potential of a child being harmed or somebody manipulating MrBeast's back catalog of all the information of the kids that he has at his repertoire from winning gifts, people that know the MrBeast brand identity and are susceptible to being lured into this RV into the woods or whatever the case may be, because they're so focused on the fact that Chris is trans. Like, it's crazy to me. And it's always been a talking point. Like last year when somebody tweeted out about Chris Tyson's ex-wife says their son misses his dad and that he constantly asks her what happened to him and where did he go. Now, mind you, this is potential fake tweet. Like, there's a community note that doesn't say that this is true at all and people are just making up terms about it. Or even the fact that people are just reacting to Chris Tyson and the transformation of the pronouns and of the gender identity at all.
Dude, Chris from MrBeast has now changed his names. Man, I'm glad I have a name like Calvin, because Calvin can never be twisted into some gay shit. One in the chat if Calvin is a good name. You can't even fucking... This person is done, bro. It's over.
Now, this has led to people not only being more abrasive to Chris in general, but to the overall trans community. And people are trying to lump two things together when they should be focusing on the main point. This should be an overall indictment of content creators who have found themselves in similar situations that we've covered really in the past couple of months. There seems to be an issue with content creators abusing their power on their fans. For whatever reason, they cannot stop using their persona or personality or their statue or their status or whatever it is in order to manipulate their young, impressionable fans into doing things with them, even if it's just having conversation. Or hell, maybe this should be an indictment of MrBeast and the people that he keeps around, but this has nothing to do with any sort of gender identity issues. This is all power dynamics. This is just another case of stop idolizing people, no matter what's going on. Chris could potentially be a terrible person in this situation. And we also shouldn't use Chris as a way to take down MrBeast. We should look at this as a singular person, not some RICO case of somebody potentially being nasty and utilizing power to the degree. Who's next?